Have you ever felt a shiver down your spine while gazing at the vast, unknowable ocean? For centuries, humanity has whispered tales of what lurks beneath the waves, creatures born not of science, but of fear and fascination. Forget what you think you know about the deep, because in this video, we delve into the legends that still haunt our nightmares. Prepare to question the boundaries of reality as we explore 4 mythological creatures said to dwell in the crushing darkness of the sea. Our journey into the abyss begins not with the titans you might expect, but with a shadowy enigma from the cold, ancient myths of Finland, the Iku-Turso. This isn't your average sea monster. Imagine a monstrous octopus, but one so ancient and terrifying, its very existence is shrouded in a deep, chilling mystery. Often described as a colossal, malevolent, tentacled beast, the Iku-Turso is mentioned in the Kalevala, Finland's national epic poem, a collection of ancient Karelian and Finnish folklore. Within these verses, it's portrayed as a creature of immense power, capable of causing great chaos and destruction, sometimes even stealing fire from the heavens or stopping the flow of blood. Think of it as a primordial force, a true terror from the very genesis of the ocean itself. Unlike other, more frequently depicted sea monsters, the Iku-Turso rarely shows itself, its appearances in folklore being brief but devastating, leaving behind only whispers of its immense, unholy power. Its rarity makes it all the more terrifying, a lurking horror whose true form and intentions remain largely unknown, forever bound to the darkest depths. But let's peel back the layers of this frigid legend. The name Iku-Turso itself holds a sinister weight. Iku means eternal or ancient, while Turso is often linked to Tursus, an old Finnish word for octopus or even a giant, monstrous being. Some interpretations connect it to the ancient Norse god Thor, through linguistic roots suggesting immense strength and power. Imagine a creature so old, so fundamental to the ocean's very being, that it existed before humanity even began to chart the stars. The Kalevala provides tantalizing, yet frustratingly brief glimpses. In one chilling passage, the wizard Vainamoinen encounters the Iku-Turso, not as a benevolent spirit, but as an antagonistic force of nature, a monstrous entity that rises from the sea, sometimes to hinder, sometimes to destroy. Its very presence is a harbinger of chaos, an unexplainable disruption in the natural order. This isn't just a big squid, this is a living, breathing natural disaster, with intelligence, or perhaps a malevolent instinct far beyond our comprehension. What truly sets the Iku-Turso apart from other, more globally recognized sea monsters is its elusive nature. While the Kraken has countless tales of ship destruction and the Leviathan is a fixture in biblical texts, the Iku-Turso remains largely in the shadows of Finnish mythology. It's often summoned by dark magic or appears as an omen of a cataclysmic event. Its 8 tentacles, described in some accounts, are not just appendages but instruments of immense power, capable of grasping ships whole, or even tearing islands from their moorings. The fear it inspired in ancient Finns was profound, a fear rooted in the unknown depths, the crushing darkness where no human could venture. They understood that the ocean wasn't just a resource, it was a living, breathing entity with its own ancient, terrifying inhabitants. The Journal of Folklore Research, exploring Finno-Ugric mythologies, often points to creatures like the Iku-Turso as embodying the untamed, dangerous aspects of nature that early peoples struggled to understand and survive. The deep, dark forests and vast icy waters of Finland were fertile ground for such terrifying legends, reflecting a profound respect and fear for forces beyond human control. If the ancient, elusive Iku-Turso whispers from the deep, then our next creature roars from the very pages of maritime terror, the Kraken. This isn't just a myth. For centuries, the Kraken was the ultimate nightmare of sailors, a colossal Leviathan from the icy fjords of Norway and the dark, churning waters of the North Atlantic. Imagine setting sail into the vast, unforgiving ocean, only to witness the surface erupt as massive, tentacled limbs, strong enough to crush the hull of a ship, rise from the depths. This creature, often described as an immense squid or octopus, wasn't just a danger. It was an executioner of the seas, dragging entire vessels and their doomed crews into the black abyss. The earliest accounts of the Kraken date back to 12th century Norse sagas, like the Orvar Oddr saga, where it's simply referred to as a hufgufa, or sea mist, hinting at its deceptive nature. But it was the detailed descriptions by Danish bishop Erik Pontoppidan in his 1752 work, The Natural History of Norway, that truly cemented the Kraken's terrifying image in the minds of Europeans. Pontoppidan spoke of a creature larger than an island, whose emerging body could be mistaken for land. Sailors, upon seeing such a floating island, would eagerly approach, hoping for safe harbor, only to be dragged down to their watery graves as the monster submerged. He claimed its sheer size created whirlpools, and that it could cause ship-eating currents by diving. These weren't just fanciful tales. They were chilling warnings whispered by grizzled mariners across countless taverns. What truly fueled the legend of the Kraken, and what makes it resonate even today, is the thin veil between myth and reality. While the exaggerated tales of island-sized beasts were likely born from fear and seafaring superstitions, scientists now widely believe that the Kraken myth was inspired by real-life encounters with giant squid, Architeuthis ducks, and colossal squid, Mesoneuthothithis hamiltoni. These creatures, though rarely seen, are indeed massive, deep-sea dwellers with eyes the size of dinner plates and tentacles armed with powerful suckers and even sharp hooks. The Smithsonian Ocean website, referencing deep-sea research, confirms that giant squid can grow up to 43 feet long, and colossal squid even larger, making them the largest invertebrates on Earth. Imagine encountering one of these behemoths in the darkness of the open ocean, illuminated only by a sliver of moonlight, its enormous eyes reflecting the terror in your own. While no giant squid has ever been documented sinking a large ship, it's easy to see how a close encounter with such an imposing alien creature could be embellished into the terrifying Kraken. The violent thrashing of its immense tentacles, perhaps against a whaling ship or a smaller fishing vessel, could certainly feel like the attack of a sea demon. The lingering question remains, if these colossal squid are real, and we've only scratched the surface of the deep ocean, what other forms of life, perhaps even larger, more powerful, and more aggressive than anything we currently know, still lurk in the abyssal plains? The Kraken, then, isn't just a creature of myth, it's a terrifying reminder of the vast, unexplored mysteries of our own planet, a symbol of the immense unknown horrors that truly might dwell just beyond the reach of our submersibles and sonar. From the crushing, silent might of the Kraken, we now turn our gaze to a different kind of oceanic terror, one that doesn't rely on brute force, but on the most insidious weapon of all, temptation. Prepare yourselves for the haunting melodies and deadly allure of the Sirens. These aren't the benevolent singing mermaids of modern fairy tales. Forget the innocent Disney interpretations. The true Sirens, as depicted in ancient Greek mythology, were monstrous, predatory beings. In Homer's epic poem, The Odyssey, written around the 8th century BCE, the hero Odysseus is famously warned of their deadly power. These creatures, often portrayed as beautiful women from the waist up, but with the wings and legs of birds, or sometimes as terrifying merfolk, inhabited rocky islands and lured sailors to their doom with voices of unparalleled beauty. Their songs were not just pleasant tunes, they were irresistible enchantments, weaving tales of knowledge, forgotten wisdom, and deepest desires, promising to reveal the secrets of the world. But to listen was to condemn oneself. Ships, drawn irresistibly towards the sound, would inevitably crash upon the treacherous rocks surrounding the Sirens' lair, their crews drowning or becoming food for these monstrous seductresses. The shores of their islands, Odysseus was told, were piled high with the bleached bones of their countless victims. The true terror of the Sirens wasn't just their physical appearance, but their mastery of psychological warfare. They preyed not on a ship's hull, but on a sailor's mind, twisting his deepest longings and curiosities into a fatal trap. This wasn't a sudden, violent attack like the Kraken. It was a slow, agonizing descent into madness, compelled by a beauty that promised everything, but delivered only death. The question, from a conspiracy perspective, isn't whether literal bird women sang from rocks, but what primal fear or unexplained phenomenon they truly represent. Could the myth of the Sirens be a garbled account of atmospheric anomalies in certain treacherous sea lanes, creating disorienting sounds that led ships astray? Or perhaps, a more chilling thought, were they a veiled warning about highly sophisticated, perhaps even non-human entities, capable of manipulating human perception and desire, leading them to their demise? You're right. The chilling truth behind the Sirens demands a deeper look. We've talked about their mesmerizing songs, their irresistible allure that dragged sailors to their watery graves. But what was that song? Was it merely the melody of a beautiful voice, or something far more ancient and powerful, tapping into the very core of human desire and despair? Ancient texts from scholars like Apollonius of Rhodes, in his Argonautica, describe the Argonauts barely escaping their clutches, not just with strong oarsmen, but through the countermagic of Orpheus's lyre, which implies something more than just a pretty tune was at play. This wasn't just entertainment, it was a form of auditory weapon, a psychological attack designed to strip away free will. Think about it. The human mind, when isolated at sea, becomes fragile. Days and nights blend into a vast, empty expanse, and the line between reality and hallucination can blur. Could the Sirens represent an oceanic phenomenon that exploits this vulnerability? Perhaps a low-frequency sonic emission from deep-sea geological activity, or even some undiscovered biological entity capable of inducing a hypnotic trance or driving sailors to delusion. Imagine the disembodied voices, the whispers of loved ones, or the promise of untold riches that would echo in the minds of exhausted, superstitious mariners, drawing them relentlessly towards certain destruction. It's a chilling parallel to modern psychological operations, suggesting an ancient natural equivalent that has been claiming victims for millennia. And what about the secrets these sirens supposedly offered? The myths often suggest their songs contained profound knowledge of the past, present, and future. Why would a predatory creature offer such intellectual temptation, unless the knowledge itself was part of the trap? A glimpse into something forbidden that would inevitably lead to ruin. This isn't just about crashing ships, it's about the corruption of the mind, the lure of forbidden truth leading to an inescapable doom. It hints at a hidden intelligence within the ocean, an entity so ancient and cunning it doesn't need physical strength to destroy, only the power to manipulate the deepest desires of the human psyche. The legend of the Sirens persists because it resonates with a primal fear, the fear of losing control, of being led astray by an unseen, irresistible force, a force that still pulls at the edges of our understanding of the ocean's true, insidious power. Perhaps the most terrifying thing about the Sirens isn't what they looked like, but what they made us feel and believe right before we met our end. They are the ultimate embodiment of the ocean's psychological warfare, eternally waiting for the unwary mind to stray. From the psychological torment of the Sirens, we plunge now into the realm of biblical terror, to confront a creature whose very name evokes primordial fear and unfathomable scale: the Leviathan. This isn't just a sea monster. It is the undisputed sovereign of the ocean's darkest chasms, a being so colossal and powerful that its existence challenges the very limits of our understanding of life on Earth. Mentioned prominently in ancient texts, most notably the Book of Job in the Old Testament, the Leviathan is described not merely as an animal, but as a force of nature, a creature of divine creation so magnificent and terrifying that only God Himself can tame it. In Job 41, its description is chillingly vivid. Its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass between them. They are joined one to another, they cling together and cannot be parted. It's depicted as impervious to human weapons. Swords, spears, darts, and javelins are useless against its impenetrable hide. Its breath is said to set coals ablaze, and smoke pours from its nostrils. When it rises, the waves of the sea boil like a pot, and it leaves a shining wake behind it, making the deep glow. This isn't just an animal. It's a living, breathing, natural disaster, a creature capable of turning the ocean into a literal inferno. But the Leviathan isn't confined to biblical scripture alone. Similar gargantuan sea creatures appear in various ancient Near Eastern mythologies, from the Mesopotamian Tiamat to the Ugaritic Lotan, suggesting a widespread, deeply ingrained human fear of an ultimate aquatic predator. These myths weren't born in a vacuum. They arose from cultures intimately connected with the sea, aware of its power and its hidden depths. While modern science has identified colossal squid and other large marine life, none come close to the sheer destructive power or the almost supernatural attributes ascribed to the Leviathan. This leads us to the unsettling question: if these ancient texts, often interpreted literally by millions, describe a creature of such magnitude, what does it truly signify? Is it merely symbolic, a metaphor for chaos? Or is it a hidden truth, a creature whose true form and power have been carefully concealed or dismissed as pure fantasy? The conspiracy lies in the very idea that such a creature could exist. With vast, unexplored trenches deeper than Mount Everest is tall, like the Mariana Trench, descending nearly 7 miles, what colossal forms of life could thrive under pressures that would crush any human vessel? What if the Leviathan is not a creature of myth, but a superspecies dormant for millennia, only occasionally stirring from its slumber in the abyssal plains? Its existence would fundamentally alter our understanding of Earth's biology, challenging everything we believe about ecosystems and evolution. Could governments or powerful global entities be aware of its existence, perhaps having encountered fragments of its true power during deep-sea explorations or covert submarine missions? The idea that an untamable, indestructible force lurks in the very foundations of our oceans is a terrifying thought, one that would justify extreme secrecy. The Leviathan serves as a chilling reminder that humanity's dominion extends only so far, and beneath the waves there might still be ancient living gods waiting to rise and reclaim their rightful place in a world that has forgotten their true power. As we pull back from the abyss, filled with whispers of the Iku-Turso, the terrifying might of the Kraken, the seductive deception of the Sirens, and the biblical horror of the Leviathan, one unsettling truth becomes clear. Our oceans hold secrets far deeper and more terrifying than we dare to imagine. Are these just ancient myths, or are they distorted memories, chilling warnings of colossal intelligent life forms that still lurk in the dark, 80% of our planet's waters? The more we learn, the more we realize how little we truly know. And perhaps that's precisely how these hidden creatures want it. Join us next time as we continue to expose the truths lurking in the shadows.